Maritime Radar, brought to you by the Nigerian Shippers Council.
Hello, and it's good to have you join us again on Maritime Radar. The Blue Economy concept considers economic development and sustainable exploration of the marine ecosystem as compatible propositions. The concept reflects the unwavering edge that exists between socioeconomic development and unethical environmental damage. The Blue Economy concept has been used in a variety of contexts. Nevertheless, the concept principally includes a number of economic sectors and policies that work together to determine the proper use of the ocean resources. The concept also aims to propagate the blend of economic growth through ocean-related activities and the sustainable use of the marine ecosystem. It entails detaching socioeconomic activity and development from environmental degradation, as well as maximizing the benefits embedded in marine resources. The role that the Maritime Domain Awareness systems play in fostering a culture of excellence and promoting best practices within the maritime community, ultimately contributing to safer and more secure oceans, are some of the issues that will be on the front burner on today's show. I am Norma Obiaswala. Experts say that the Nigerian blue economy can offer 350 million jobs to Nigerian citizens if adequately harnessed. This goes to show the enormous blue economy potential and marine resources that can be explored in Nigeria through the maritime industry. To maximize the abundant marine resources in Nigeria, achieve the projected economic development, and reposition the Nigerian maritime industry among the best in the world through the blue economy concept, new lines of thinking need to be considered within a viable action plan, which includes refocusing the attention of the Nigerian maritime industry beyond traditional maritime sector activities, sustainable use of marine resources, marine spatial planning, emergence as a center of maritime dispute disposition, and tourism. Consequently, being an economic diversification idea, the blue economy concept aims at redirecting the attention of stakeholders to emerging and redundant traditional maritime activities that can be maximized from economic growth. Before we get further into today's lineup of the program, let's find out the latest in maritime news.
The Minister of Marine and Blue Economy, Adegboyega Oyetola, led a high-level stakeholders forum in Lagos aimed at accelerating the implementation of the recently approved national policy on marine and blue economy. During his keynote address, Oyetola emphasized that the creation of the Federal Ministry of Marine and Blue Economy represents one of the boldest and most forward-thinking reforms under President Bola Tinubu. He stressed the need for interagency coordination, accountability mechanisms, and capacity building, affirming that citizen engagement and shared ownership are essential to the success of the policy. Drawing on global trends, he argued that inclusive policy making yields stronger development outcomes, particularly in complex and interconnected sectors such as the marine economy. The minister revealed that the federal government has commenced reconstruction of the Apapa and Tinkan ports under the Western Port Rehabilitation Program, with procurement processes ongoing for the eastern ports. These physical upgrades are being matched with digital innovations such as the Port Community System, an electronic collar platform, and a unified one-stop shop for port clearance, all aimed at reducing congestion, boosting investor confidence, and re-establishing Nigeria as a maritime hub in West and Central Africa. He noted that procedural bottlenecks are being addressed and investment is rising in bonded terminals, dry ports, inland logistics corridors, and warehousing. The forum drew participation from a broad spectrum of stakeholders, including heads of maritime agencies, ship owners, terminal operators, freight forwarding associations, truckers, women's groups, and representatives of the Nigeria Customs Service, Nigerian Navy, Nigerian Agricultural Quarantine Service, Nigerian Technology Development Agency, and other critical institutions. 2 crew members from the Singapore-registered oil tanker Hafnia Nile have been charged under Singapore's Merchant Shipping Act following a deadly collision that left one person dead and another seriously injured. The individuals charged are Sosei Anthony Vaina, a 35-year-old Indian national, and Vikramaj Viraj Amila Shavinda Perera, a 40-year-old Sri Lankan national. Court documents state that Perera was the officer in charge of the navigational watch at the time of the incident, which occurred on July 19, 2024. Both vessels involved caught fire. The Hafnia Nile was transporting around 300,000 barrels of naphtha to Japan at the time. According to charge sheets, Perera failed to properly assess navigational risks, maintain situational awareness, and ensure a proper lookout. Actions that allegedly contributed to the tanker's collision with the Ceres 1, a vessel suspected to be part of Iran's so-called shadow fleet operating in defiance of Western sanctions. Vaina, who served as the duty lookout, allegedly noticed the Hafnia Nile nearing the Ceres 1 but failed to alert the officer in charge. He's also accused of steering the vessel without instruction and failing to maintain a proper lookout. The crash caused serious damage to both ships and resulted in the death of a crew member aboard the Ceres 1, while another sustained severe injuries. Singapore's Maritime and Port Authority is prosecuting both men.
Welcome back. If you are just joining us, this is Maritime Radar. Maritime Domain Awareness award systems focus on recognizing and promoting excellence in maritime security, safety, and operational readiness. These awards often highlight achievements in areas like situational awareness, threat detection, and effective response capabilities within the maritime domain. It also plays a crucial role in fostering a culture of excellence, promoting best practices within the maritime community, ultimately contributing to safer and more secure oceans. Our guest, Rear Admiral Francis Akpan, retired, former FOC, Naval Training Command, Nigerian Navy, and Chief of Administration, Naval Headquarters, FOC, Western Naval Command, shares on the impact of implementing the Cabotage Act in driving Nigeria's shipping industry and the role of maritime domain awareness systems role in ensuring safety and security of Nigeria's vast coastline. Stay with us. Rear Admiral, it's good to have you join us again on the show.
Thank you.
It's always a pleasure having you.
Thank you.
So let's start this conversation looking at the Marine and Blue Economy National Policy, 10-year national policy. What do you think are the fundamentals that will drive the blue economy, looking at the policy?
Thank you very much, Nyama, for having me. My pleasure being here, your beautiful studio. The fundamentals of any policy will depend on, firstly, expertise, structure, and commitment to its implementation. The expertise that we really lack now in managing blue economy, and of course, the structures in terms of how you can edify it to those that must partner with the blue economy itself. The blue economy will not be contained within the Marine and Blue Economy Ministry. It has to look at the other clusters that includes the Ministry of Defense, Force Security, Maritime Security, especially the Navy. It must look at the issue of environment, because the blue economy is about the balancing act between sustainability of the environment and resource revenue increase, plus, of course, adaptation with the community, because it's the Rio Plus 20 United Nations strategic development goals actually harps on sustainability, the environment, the demographics, and of course the resources, improvement of resources, improvement of life, improvement of well-being. The other aspect is that the Ministry of Environment must be included, the Ministry of Culture as it pertains to tourism, attraction to tourism and the rest, transportation, ferry services, shipping, and what have you. Of course, there's a very thin line now between transportation and blue economy because of the marine aspect. But all these are the fundamentals that can make, because the policy will just be there in a shelf. But if they have the expertise to push, and they can create through an act, I've discovered that my short term, 7 decades on earth, MOUs don't work in Nigeria. But an act will work, could work, especially if it comes from the executive. So we must ensure that on all those fundamentals, that very critical aspect of the clusters of ministries that will endanger the policy should be put in place.
So looking at what you just said now, do you see capacity or will to be able to follow through what you just said now?
And let me tell you the fact, I haven't seen any. I'm sorry, that's my observation. I expected that by now, I won't mention names, there are some admirals in the Navy that have 3rd degrees in blue economy. I would have thought, look, this is national assets. They've been trained by Nigerian taxpayers. I would have thought, if you ask me strictly and seriously too, that those guys should be working around the office of the Minister of Marine and Blue Economy.
To ensure to drive this policy.
Yes. To drive, to implement, to assist. Because they will also give you that niche between the fundamentals we discussed and maritime security.
The ministry really has a lot to do to be able to achieve whatever it is in the policy, and also needs a lot of collaborations to do. So, but still in the implementation, looking at the implementation, which is also critical to drive anything, do you think is the impact of implementing the Cabotage Act in terms of driving the shipping industry, Nigeria's shipping industry?
Nigerian shipping industry profile, shipping industrial profile is 1.5% of the global index. We have only 271 ships. Ships owned by, not flagged, owned by Nigerians. Thanks to people like Engineer Gwefun, thanks to people like Tamus Limited, Ambrose Ovebo, who have increased in terms of tens, thanks to people that have been buying and investing in maritime platforms. But we are not there at all. The Cabotage Act will open up the space. And from 271, we could hit, if we're serious, if the Cabotage Act is properly implemented. This Cabotage Act, please, I've heard about it and I know about it because I think I'm a director of one of the shipping companies. Cabotage Act is the contribution from those who own vessels. It's theirs. Open it up. I don't know.
But I think the DG said August, so we are waiting to see.
I hope that they'll open up the space so that in 5 years we can improve from 271 to 400. And you know what that does? We're opening up employment for the seafarers. The graduates we get from Maritime Academy, the graduates that are attending various maritime academies in the world, will have the opportunity to plow in their trade at home without being poached by other foreign ship entrepreneurs. So that's a huge opportunity. It's huge. Marine trade, we are not there yet.
So we are still looking at implementation and capacity to be able to drive this.
Capacity to drive and implementation of the policy, the nitty-gritty of the policy. Cabotage Act.
Okay, so let's see, what must be done in terms of policy or naval investment, security that can encourage ship ownership? You mentioned CFFF, being able to, for NIMASA to be able to disburse that and then unlock industry full potential. How do you think we go about this?
There are two things we can assist in industry potentials. In shipping, you have, apart from marine shipping, etc., shipbuilding is also key. Boat building is thriving. We're doing well. I mean, with the say 10 to 30 meter vessels, we're doing very well. The Navy is doing about 35 now, 35 meters. Somewhere also in the hinterland around Port Harcourt area, they're building good boats. And the Navy, of course, has developed its boat strength to about 200 in number. Wow. These are capacities waiting. The ferry services also. The Navy and other ships that are building ferry boats now. But we can expand by putting in place capacity in Navy dockyard. The Navy should see this also as an opportunity, to be able to expand its. So
you're saying we are not seeing enough investments in that regard?
No, we are not. We are not. Would have, if they are, let me hear it. People are still building ships abroad. When you do ship investment abroad, you are shipping out labor and bringing in poverty. But I believe that if you are going to have like 4 ships, that Cabotage Act must insist that at least one of those vessels are built in country. That we are building capacity and we are expanding the shipbuilding trend.
Okay, to strengthen Nigeria's maritime strategy and boost the blue economy, what strategic moves or policy should be deployed to secure our coastline and then harness the maritime advantage that we have?
We have exited from the global pirate community. We are now one of the...
Because lately, there are a lot of piracy issues coming up.
No, it's the press. The press calls sea robbery piracy. Not piracy takes place in the high seas against international traffic. Sea robbery is the one that happens in our channels. That's what the press hypes as piracy, not piracy. We've been exited and it's real. Falcon Eye, that was established by the Navy, developed by ROTCOMs, ships from Cameroon to Togo. No pirate activity has taken place in Nigerian international waters in the last 3 years. The IMO would have raised the red flag. Falcon Eye has curbed the excesses. Falcon Eye works under like 3-layer detection, analysis, runs by installation of radars from Badagry to Ibaka. We have about 18 radars with 5 high-frequency radars that sweeps up to 300 nautical miles. ROTCOMs is trying to develop the backwater strategy, which is important. The proposals are out there. There was a presentation made to the Minister of Defense and other maritime stakeholders not too long ago. And I believe that if that has been approved and will come in, the backwaters will be properly covered. Oh. No pirate incident has taken place in Nigeria. We're out. So it's the backwaters. But the press, once it's on water, any space of water, even Lake Chad, is piracy, but it's not. It's sea robbery. Piracy, the world will raise the flag. So we hope that if we can get the backwater proposal right, we'll have some platforms that will be carrying electro-optic cameras, carrying radars. The choke points have been mapped out through satellite. So the choke points are known, where we had incidents of a little bit of illegal pipe or illegal crude, whatever, breaking of pipelines, really, not crude lifting, because if you lift the crude, you can't take it anywhere. Falcon Eye will pick you up as soon as you cross the coast. But that backwater incident can be checked with the Hawkeye that's been developed by ROTCOMs for the Nigerian government. And it's going to be like using the same Falcon Eye platforms, just as it's a backward integrated system.
Okay, do you think this Falcon Eye you mentioned have really been able to improve maritime surveillance and intelligence? But we'll talk about that. That will be after this short break. Please stay with us.
For more than 5 decades, we have empowered and protected the interests of shippers in the nation's maritime industry. Our focus is to facilitate trade, regulate tariffs and rates, as well as handle shippers' complaints on cargo losses, damage and non-delivery. We offer dispute resolution mechanism for shipping and trade disputes between shippers and service providers. We are Nigerian Shippers Council, Nigeria's port economic regulator, your gateway to a thriving maritime sector. Nigerian Shippers Council will meet you at the port of your need.
Welcome back if you are just joining us. This is Maritime Domain, and I still have with me Rear Admiral Francis Akpan, retired. He is the former FOC Naval Training Command, Nigerian Navy, and Chief of Administration, Naval Headquarters, FOC Western Naval Command. Before we went on that break, we were looking at Falcon Eye. How has that improved surveillance and intelligence?
Falcon Eye, as established by ROTCOMs, has improved not just surveillance, but the doctrinal strategy of the Navy. It's a maritime domain awareness system that has about five or so layers driven by a maritime operational intelligence system. That's the software. And let me not blow it up too much. Falcon Eye is the best technologically backed maritime domain awareness system in sub-Saharan Africa. It's the best. And in any part of the developing world, I think they stand tall with the system, the Nigerian Navy. established by the Office of National Security Advisor. It was inaugurated in 2017. There has never been a redundancy. Commissioned 4 years ago by the President Commander-in-Chief. No redundancy, I mean for 1 second. Like you lose track of the EEZ, the complete exclusive economic zone of Nigeria. 200 nautical miles, 420 sweeping across. It has established itself as a top-notch system. And like I said, it has assisted in doctrinal processes of Navy. In that too, when we were in service, we used to go on what they call opportunistic operations, where you fuel your vessels, and a radio takes about 975,000 liters of diesel. And you sail the ships, and you give them access for patrols, which covers from the east to the west. And at the end of the day, because it's opportunistic, you might be lucky on a good week to have them make contact with those that are creating malfeasance in our sea, illegal fishing especially, smuggling and whatever. No, there were no incidents of piracy per se, but it was hugely incidents of illegal, unreported, and unregulated fishing. And that was huge because the losses were, for Nigeria, up to $200,000 a year. And of course, the deprivation of the protein content of our inhabitants. So Falcon Eye has stopped that. In the comfort of their office, from the command headquarters to the main command and control center in Abuja, Falcon Eye is able to pick every niche of activities, every, quote me, and is able to record it, is able to prosecute with it, like what happened in the...
So you are saying that the records that's been shown is baseless in terms of the smuggling and the IUU you just mentioned?
Smuggling now will take place in the interwaters. Look, if you're going to smuggle from Cotonou to Lagos, for example, there are creeks, Badagry creeks that you use, but of course, the Navy has created a forward operational base in Badagry, so they will nip you in the butt. If you get her to the heights, you'll be picked like in a second, and you'll be tracked, and you'll be chased by both helicopters and surface vessels.
But we still don't have our water devoid of this illegal activities.
Like which one?
Which one? The one we are discussing.
Maybe sea robbery. Sea robbery takes place in the channels. Nigeria has up to 200 channels. Apart from the main streams like Cross River, Imo River, Ogun River, Bonnet Channel, Escravos, Pocados, Ogun, there are up to 200 streams where activities take place that are informal. Okay, so basically, like I said, those checkpoints have been mapped out through satellite. And if there is a backward integrated system like the Hawkeye attached to Falcon Eye, it will need most of this internal water malfeasance.
I must agree with you that Navy has done well, but there's always room for improvement. So what do you think?
It's not absolute.
What do you think Navy should do differently or improve on what they have in terms of ensuring maritime security?
Maritime security cannot be achieved 100%, but like I said, if you look at the statistics, arrests...
For instance, Nigerian's name was removed from the piracy list.
Exactly.
It's not absolute, but we're getting to that point where you could say, okay, our waters are safe.
Yes, our waters are safe, and it's true. Our waters are safe. Look, the Lloyd system, Lloyd even has recognized that. Nigerian waters was put in the world risk situation in insurance. Falcon Eye made it safe when we exited $800 million a year. Falcon Eye. We are now back and recognized by Lloyd Shipping, another shipping body, including IMO and the rest. So that is huge in terms of what Falcon Eye has facilitated. We've had in the last 3 years more than 20-something arrests because, you know, those who do illegalities are daring. Look at heroic Idun that was tracked to Equatorial Guinea and back. Look at the pirate attacks on ships like the Halufan. They were dislodged by helicopters that came in with special forces and dislodged the pirates and arrested them and rescued them, of course, escorted the ship to safety. So it has worked. As we sit in the you will see everything by satellite imaging, you will see by radar, and of course they have electro-optic cameras that could pick from 45 to 100 nautical miles, depending on the weather. But that's how good it is.
Okay, then how can Navy and other agencies better integrate inland intelligence with maritime operations? Because we should also look at our inland waterways. What is Navy doing? I know that Navy can't do that alone in collaboration with other agencies to be able to achieve this, because we need that
for
too.
integration. I know that IOCs, MP, NIMASA also have their maritime domain awareness systems. Can it be integrated? Yes, it can. Why won't it integrate it? People are just protecting their fiefdoms or industries, and I don't get it. There must be an all-of-government approach to issues like maritime domain awareness. The whole of the maritime industry, including our assets at sea, oil and gas assets, contribute nothing less than 40–50% of our GDP. We must be bothered. It should be integrated. IOCs have very intricate maritime domain awareness systems that protect their various assets at sea. You know, they are local, but can be integrated. NIMASA has, and MP has. They have names, they call them some C3, some C4. They have. Every other nation has a centralized system where where intelligence is shared. We also, with the Falcon Eye platform and the fact that we are part of the West African Maritime Domain Awareness System provision based on the Yamoussoukro Agreement, the Enogwa Agreement, also share intelligence. That is why, apart from the fact that we have cleared piracy right in Nigerian waters, the whole of Gulf of Guinea has benefited from this information sharing from the Naval Headquarters to Benin, Togo, and the rest, based on our various maritime zones. So integration is key. We must get it right. This attachment and this defense of fiefdoms and industry, everybody to keep his ministry, that is not the essence of having ministries and parastatals and departments. The essence to be able to harvest bountifully from these endeavors is to integrate them.
Sadly, time is not always our friend when we're talking about critical national issues like this, but I hope that a lot of things, you have said a lot of things and proffered a lot of solutions to be able to ensure that we come together and put nation first and put our country first to be able to drive the maritime security and also tap into the ocean resources of the blue economy. Thank you very much for your time and your thoughts. It's been Rear Admiral Francis Akpan, retired. He's the former FOC Naval Training Command, Nigerian Navy, and Chief of Administration, Naval Headquarters, FOC Western Naval Command. Many thanks for your time on the show. Thank you for talking to us about what Falcon Eye is doing and how it's making us proud. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.
And that's our show this week. Join us every week on Maritime Radar as we explore potentials that will ensure the development of the maritime sector in Africa. You can also expect the latest in global and local maritime news, plus industry insights right here. I am Norma Obiaswala. Many thanks for your time and see you again next week.
Maritime Radar, brought to you by the Nigerian Shippers Council.